Hi.
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 I
We,
can only still see the welcome screen. Can you see both of our faces? Oh, there we
yeah,
are.
I see both of us.
Okay, good. So, hello,
Well,
wherever you are joining
hello.
us from, whether you're live or you're watching this later as a recording, welcome and thank you for tuning into these super informative discussions. For those of you that don't know us, I am Monique. I'm a licensed esthetician, account executive, and aesthetics trainer for Truth Treatment Systems. And joining me is pharmacist Ben Fuchs or Benjamin Knight Fuchs, aka the Rogue Pharmacist and the founder and formulator of Truth Treatment Systems. And we are here today to talk about what is inside of our topical products. Everything that you need to know about what you are putting on your skin can be discovered on the back of the box, right there in the ingredient deck. And if only we could truly understand what it is that we are looking at as consumers and even as skin professionals, it's so confusing these days. And, our professionals and consumers
Intentionally. Intentionally.
intentionally,
Yeah.
yes. And as we are starting to wake up to the marketing deception and the lies on social media and the fake influencers and all of that, it's great because we're seeking out more effective solutions, but the marketing specialists are becoming savvy to that as well. And so they've upped their game and adapted the verbiage to help maintain that deception. So Ben is here with us today to teach us how to look beyond the marketing, flip the box over, and gain a deeper understanding of what's really inside. And I'm not here to call anybody out, but what we want to do is just reveal an ingredient deck or two. We have several, but we'll cover what we can today with the time that we have on some of the most popular and widely known and used products in the industry currently. We'll talk about what skin issues they claim to resolve. And Ben, you can help us determine if they are indeed doing that or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot to mention, maybe we should have had our retinol serum ingredient deck or something up with this.
I do have it.
Oh, you do have it. If you can put it up after
Yes.
we're talking. So why don't you ask? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay. So why don't you
So
ask me some?
this one,
Oh, the
yeah,
ingredients. It doesn't have the ingredients though.
that's on the next page. So I have
Okay.
a few different slides in here. So
Got it.
this product is this is a high dose
Ours
retinol
or the one we're
serum.
comparing? The one we're comparing.
This is the one we're comparing to.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
this is a
Gotcha.
really popular, widely known retinoid complex. They're claiming to have a 3.5% retinoid complex with squalene to
Now,
minimize
wait a
the.
minute. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. This is not ours with the truth logo there. That's confusing because
No,
it's,
that's the
yeah,
that's
you
the
want to take that truth
logo.
logo. Yeah, that looks like it's ours. It's not ours.
Yeah,
There
nope,
you go.
there
There
there it goes. Bye-bye.
you go. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is it's a serum. So it's claiming to minimize the look of pores, smooth out texture, even skin tone, reverse the look of wrinkles is the
Okay.
exact verbiage.
Okay.
That it is delivering the benefits of a retinol while maintaining a healthy skin barrier.
Okay.
And
So that's just
so
that's kind of marketing gibberish. But what's the key? What's the key point there in that whole thing?
the key point is that it is saying it's a
There you go.
3.5% retinoid complex,
Okay.
right?
So when the uninitiated non-esthetician or even esthetician, unfortunately, or even doctor or healthcare professional sees that, it looks like there's 3.5% retinol
Mhm.
or some kind of retinoid. But that's not what that says. And that's why you have to be very sophisticated when you read these things because they know all the tricks. So this says 3.5% what? Retinoid complex.
Mhm.
Now, retinoid complex is a marketing term. There's no official thing that's called a retinoid complex. It's not an official ingredient. That's just kind of verbiage. The question is how much retinoid, which is the active ingredient, is in that retinoid complex?
Right.
Theoretically, we'll look at the ingredient deck and break it down, but theoretically, it could be, you know, 0.1% retinoid and 99.9% complex, right?
Mhm.
You look, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
It could be
I
like
have
one
another
tiny,
question.
oh, okay. It could be a tiny, tiny little bit of ret. We don't know. And
Mhm.
that's why when we're formulating, I'm telling you how much is in everything so you can make a good decision. Right now, we don't know. We don't know how much
And
retinoid there is.
also, another thing to understand, because as I'm putting this together, right, I'm doing my research trying to find these ingredient decks that we can kind of compare and contrast. As I'm,
Right.
I'm quickly reading through this, and we are distracted, we are busy, we're not
Correct.
taking very much time to really look
Correct.
deeper or like really
Correct.
read this line by line. And
Yes.
so I tell Ben, I'm like, okay, Ben, we're comparing our retinol to this retinol. It's a 3.5% retinol. And he's like, no, no, it's not.
And
And
you're
I'm
like,
like,
yes, it
okay.
is. And
And
then you show me the website and we broke it down.
yeah, we're like, yeah, no, okay, it's not. And that was just because, I'm reading through this quickly while I'm
Sure.
multitasking. And
Sure.
for most of us, consumers, that's what we're doing when we're running through the grocery store or, we're going through, the Sephora and looking at these products. Like you're quickly glancing to see what it is and you're pulling
Correct.
out these key marketing terms that you recognize and then, just determining that that's what it is without actually
Correct.
really knowing what it is.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you
All
ready
of
to
that.
go into oh, and one
You
more
want to?
thing while we're on
Yeah.
this page, this
Yeah.
little segment down here, clinical results with 30 volunteers on the reduction of wrinkles, pores, dark spots in a 2-week test.
Okay. Well, we don't, that doesn't really mean anything. We don't really know what that's about. So let's talk about like the exact ingredients and the formula and all that. Okay. You
So
want to do it that way?
this is your formula. Do you see it
Okay.
on there?
Yes. So let me see here. Hold up. Yeah. Yes. Here's the formula. All right. You want to break it? Let's break it down. Okay. Okay. Now, I don't expect anybody to know how to break this down, but there's a couple of key things. First of all, you got 40 plus ingredients in there. There's no need for 40 ingredients on your skin if you want retinol. That's why our retinol products have like 5 ingredients. I use other vitamins with my retinol, and if you see our retinol serum, you'll see everything there is something that's good for your skin. This is just gibberish. This is a mess. This is a formulation mess. It's just slop. It's inelegant. It's just throwing everything in. It's just an ugly, nasty, not, ancient formula without any real thought to it. So you see 43 ingredients, the average person is just not even going to look at it. It just looks so complicated. To me, it
Right.
looks complicated. The real key here is understanding the concept of misdirection. They want you overwhelmed. They don't want you breaking it down. So what you do is you just go to the first few ingredients because most of your product is going to be in the first few ingredients. And the way you know this, and the average person is going to know, but because of the ingredient that goes from highest to lowest. If you can pick a point and you have a general idea of how much of that ingredient is in a product, you can kind of tell what's in after that. So for example, glycerin is usually in around 5%, right? So everything after the glycerin, which is the fourth ingredient or the third ingredient, is going to be at less than 5%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the average person is going to know that, but if you come to us, we can tell you. The real key here is the hydroxyethyl acrylate sodium acrylyl dimethyl taurate copolymer. You want to say that?
No, I don't.
Nobody does. That's why they put it there.
Yeah.
Hydroxyethyl acrylate sodium acrylyl dimethyl taurate copolymer and the hydroxyacetophenone. The hydroxyethyl sodium acrylyl dimethyl taurate copolymer is a thickener. Has nothing to do with your skin. It's just a thickener.
For
And
texture.
what's that?
It's for texture.
Texture and kind of pulls everything together. So
Okay.
you get a cream. And then, or is this a serum? Was this a serum?
This is a serum.
Okay, so it's not even a cream. It pulls everything together, basically. And then the next ingredient that's important is the hydroxyacetophenone. Those are the 2 key ingredients. Hydroxyethyl acrylate sodium acrylyl dimethyl taurate copolymer kind of pulls everything together, and the hydroxyacetophenone, which is kind of sort of a preservative-ish, antioxidant preservative kind of thing. Okay, neither of which have anything to do with your skin. Number one, and number two, that are in products at less than 1%, typically around 0.5%. Which immediately tells you something. It tells you everything after that ingredient is going to be in at less than 0.5%. Okay?
Right.
So the next 2 ingredients are hydroxypinocolone retinoate, right? See it?
Yep.
And retinol.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your two retinoids. If we know that hydroxyacetophenone is less than 0.5%, we know that hydroxypinocolone retinoate and retinol are less than 0.5% or less.
Or less. Yep.
So hydroxypinocolone retinoate itself is a retinoid, but it's not all retinol, or it's not all retinoid. Some of it is hydroxypinocolone.
Which is what?
It kind of protects it a little bit so it doesn't release as fast. It makes the retinol much milder.
Okay.
Okay? It's kind of a mild form of retinol.
Okay.
Right? So hydroxypinocolone retinoate itself is only a fraction retinoid. Probably about, let's say, 0.5% or so retinoid. So now you got 0.5%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is about, I'm approximating here. It could be less. It could be even less than 0.5%. It could be less than 50%. It could be 40%, 30%. Let's say 0.5%. So you got 0.25%. And then the retinol, at best, you have 0.5%, probably less. So
Right.
you're looking at probably somewhere along the lines of 0.5 to 0.6, 0.7% retinoid. But if you just read the thing fast, it says 3.5%. Right?
Yep.
But if you read the ingredient deck, that tells a different story.
Yeah.
So it's
Wildly
not
different story.
it's not 3.5%. It's 3.5% complex, but not 3.5% retinol. In reality, it's much less than 1%, probably in the order of 0.5% retinoid activity, which is like
Which
a sliver. Is
it makes
nothing.
me like
It's
instantly
hardly anything.
aggravated
Of course it
and
should.
upset.
It
It's so
should.
upsetting.
It should. Because you see, that's what skincare is. Skincare is pretend. I'm a pharmacist. I'm not pretending. You can't pretend in the pharmacy. In the pharmacy, you have to be real. That's why I call it the truth. In pharmacy, you're playing with people who, have health challenges. That's true. These are skincare products. So it's not like you have diabetes or cancer, right? I understand that. Nonetheless, skincare should have a certain gravitas.
Yeah.
It should have a certain seriousness to it. I've told the story. You've heard it a million times, I know, and I hate telling my stories a million times, but they're important.
No, we love hearing your stories.
All right. So when I was a kid, I had a really good friend whose dad owned a toy store.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like the most popular kid in the neighborhood, but she was my friend. So she would call me up when she got a new toy. And I'd be the first kid in the neighborhood to play with the new toy. And so Eileen, her name's Eileen, we'll say. And she calls me up and she says, Ben, I just got a new toy. It's called an Easy Bake Oven. And we're going to bake cookies. And I was all like 6 years old, 5 or 6, I don't even remember. And she said, we're going to bake cookies. I got all excited. Oh, yay, we're going to bake cookies. And I go to Eileen's house and knock on the door and we go into her living room. And she shows me this toy. And it's this little tin box with a light bulb in it. It's like, this big or something.
Yeah,
And,
I had one too.
right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like a little kid, but I remember thinking, how am I getting cookies out of this? It just didn't make sense. And then she pulls out the little mold and it's like, this big and there's little holes in it. And she takes this like a packet of like powder and mixes it with water and puts it in the little mold. And a tiny little thing. And I was very suspicious at that point. She puts it in this little contraption and the light bulb goes off and then she pulls it out, after a few minutes. And she takes tweezers, literally tweezers, and she pulls out what's like a pencil eraser. Looked like a pencil eraser to me. And she said, here's your cookie. And I'm like, what? That's my cookie? I came over here for this little pencil eraser thing? And I tell the story because it reminds me of skincare.
Yeah.
Skincare is pretend.
Mm-hmm.
It's let's play skincare.
Mm-hmm.
It's toy. I'm coming from a different world. I'm coming from a world of burns and a world of traumas and a world of skin diseases and a world of aging and wrinkled skin or photo damaged skin. I can't play toy. I can't say here's retinoid complex that's benzyl alcohol and linalool and tridecyl phosphate and sodium hydroxide,
Hmm.
and I can't play that game, and you shouldn't either. I'm
Right.
not talking you, Monique. I'm talking the consumer and the
Well, no,
esthetician.
for me too. Look,
Nobody
I'm
should
like,
play that game. It's not
we,
fair. It's
yeah.
rude. It's misanthropic. It's misogynistic. It's anti-human. It's offensive. And that's why I call my company The Truth. I don't want this baloney. And this company, we're not going to name them. They should be ashamed of themselves. And the owner of this company or the owners or whoever it is, how do you look at yourself in the mirror with this kind of stuff? And it's 3.5% retinol complex. It's so mean spirited. And so if you look at the ingredient deck, you'll see 40 plus, I don't even know, 40, 45 different ingredients. You know,
Hmm.
I started to count, I couldn't even count them all. It's like 40 plus, but I know there's 40 plus ingredients in this thing. And for the most part, they're not there for your skin. They're there for the ingredient deck. And there's a couple at the bottom. Remember, we're going bottom to the top. So there's a few ingredients at the bottom that are cute. They're not going to change your life or anything, but they're like ceramides and such. You start off with water, 50%, say. I haven't seen the product, so I can tell by looking at it, but probably around
Hmm.
50%. The next ingredient, squalane. Yeah, it's a lipid. It's going to have a little skin softening properties, maybe some penetration properties.
Hmm.
Glycerin, again, not going to do anything. It's a humectant. Then you start to get into the BS stuff, right?
Hmm.
Hexyldecanol. What is hexyldecanol? What do we need hexyldecanol in a product for?
What is hexyldecanol? Do
It's
you
a
know?
solvent. Yeah, it's a solvent of some kind. Probably it helps the product apply more effectively. I'm just going by
Okay.
the chemistry of it. I don't use hexyldecanol, so it's hard for me to say. But just based on the chemistry of it, it's probably some kind of it's a fatty alcohol. It's probably got some kind of slip and maybe help
Okay.
solubilize the retinol. It's not there for your skin, put it that way.
Right.
Propane diol is just a fancy name for propylene glycol, and again, just for slip kind of feel. Um, Dimethyl, I can't really see this. Is it dimethyl isosorbide? Is that the next ingredient?
Yep.
What's that? Okay, dimethyl isosorbide, probably another solvent of some kind. None of this is for your skin. This is all just keep the product together and dissolve everything and put it in so it doesn't, excuse me, come out of solution and precipitate out. It also, by the way, dimethyl isosorbide is sometimes used with retinol because it's a penetration enhancer. So it might have
Okay.
something to do with penetration.
Hmm.
Um, and then you get into the BS stuff, which we talked about, the dimethyl um, or sodium acrylyl or hydroxyethyl acrylate, sodium acrylyl dimethyl taurate copolymer, which kind of
It's like,
brings everything
oh, my
together.
head's gonna explode.
I
Yeah.
know exactly. Exactly. At
Yep.
this point, you're into 90% of the product, 95% maybe of the product. Hydroxyacetophenone is like an antioxidant preservative kind of thing. And then you get into the retinols,
Hmm.
tiny amounts. Then you really start to go into silly season. Sunflower seed oil, rosemary leaf extract, flower
Yep.
oil of some kind, wood oil of some kind, leaf oil of some kind,
Yep.
sandalwood oil, rice extract. It's all silliness, and they're in a trace percents anyway. If you
Right.
go really down to the bottom, you'll find a little vitamin E, probably a tiny fraction of it, and the
Yep.
rest is just almost nothing. What do you need here? You need the retinol, which is why my retinol gel has retinol, has a matrix, and a penetration aid, and that's it. 3 ingredients or
Yeah, and I
three
have a
classic.
slide with those ingredients, so we're going to show you. But if somebody's obviously people are repurchasing or purchasing this product because they
It's
like the
now
way
here's
it
the thing.
feels, or
Yes, here's the thing. All of these ingredients will create a feel,
hmm.
and we are conditioned to believe that there's an association between feel
Yeah.
and something happening.
Hmm.
It's a hypnosis, it's a conditioning. If you feel it, you think something's happening.
Hmm.
That's not the case. What's worse, though, is we have this collective vision as a culture of the skin as a sponge where you put stuff on and it kind of sucks it in.
Hmm.
That's not the skin. The skin is a bioelectrical system whose health depends on electrical conductivity. And that electrical conductivity, first, if you want to improve your skin's health, that electrical conductivity has to be supported which is all the ingredients we use, we're supporting electrical conductivity. On the other hand, the feel and the ingredients that people like shut down electrical conductivity. They're an insulator. It's like wearing a heavy wool coat on your skin.
Yes.
You're putting a covering, an insulator on your skin. And while you may like the feel, what you've in effect done is you've suppressed the bioelectrical energy. You've made the skin less healthy. And this is my real gripe here is we're using products, we're promoting products, we're encouraging the use of products, we're liking products that are making our skin less healthy.
Yeah.
And it's one thing for a consumer not to know, but for a company to do it is just deceitful and ugly and nasty.
And I have a real personal experience with this after using Truth Treatment Systems for a year and a half.
Yes.
And I have to share it because I came to you, Ben, because I was like desperately wanting to feel something different on my skin. But I've been using Truth Treatment Systems year and a half. Okay. Transdermal C serum in the morning, C balm at night, my mist all day, the glow oxygen all day, omega all day, every day. If I could bathe in that stuff, I would. But I did accidentally give myself a chemical peel, which estheticians, we push the limits of things, and gave myself a little peel, and I was desperate for something that was going to soften the texture of my skin. But because I'm learning under you, I understood that if I put something else like that on, it has the potential of down regulating my skin.
Down
And
regulating. Good word.
what
Thank you.
was your response to me? I was like, Ben, I had this tub of shea butter. I just want to like slab the shea butter all over my face.
Yeah, what I tell you, you're just going to shut
You
everything
told
down.
me, yeah, you're like, go ahead and put it all over your face. It's just going to down regulate your skin. Like you might
Yes.
have some temporary relief, which go for it, but just know that this is ultimately what is happening.
It's the exact opposite of your peel. Your peel is to
Exactly.
upregulate, is to turn things on, and now you just put this heavy blanket on top of your peel to shut things down.
Yeah. So
And
you know
that's
what happened?
what?
Well, we came out with a protocol. I wound up using the slip gel and the omega, and I got through that phase. Okay. I got through the
Okay.
phase. I resisted. But I wanted to just experiment with this for myself to see what would actually happen if I were to go back to using something else.
Right.
And so I put the shea butter on one night, and it was like 3 or 4 days post using that shea butter that I was so dry. My skin like lost its luster. And I was like, oh my
Because you
God,
down regulated. You shut
I
everything down.
did. Yeah. And
Yes.
so I'm at the point with Truth Treatment Systems that I really can't use anything else.
Good for you. That's how it should be.
But
You
here's
shouldn't use
why.
anything.
Let's look at your ingredient deck
Okay.
and like maybe share a little bit
All right.
why
So here's our
exactly that
retinol
is.
serum. And when we say 5% retinol serum, it's not retinol complex. Okay. It's not a bunch of things with a little retinol. It's real retinol, pure USP retinol, 5%. And by the way, that's unheard of. Nobody, that should not be even allowed. But we figured out a way that you can use it, if not every day, every third day. Some
Yeah.
people use it every other day, right? Why? Because of the formulation. Look at the formulation. First ingredient is the ester. That's for the penetration. Second ingredient is vitamin C. Third ingredient is squalane. All these are going to give your skin benefits, by the way. Third ingredient is cap triglyceride. That comes with the retinol. The retinol is in cap triglyceride, which is another penetrating agent. Next ingredient is the retinol. 5%, real 5%. Next ingredient is vitamin E. Next ingredient is phytosterols, which are plant steroids, which have an anti-inflammatory property. And then the next ingredient is one of my favorite of all skincare ingredients is fullerenes, which are tremendous antioxidants and penetration aids, and then BHT, which is a antioxidant that protects the retinol. And it comes, I don't actually add it, it comes with the retinol. So that's like 7 ingredients or 8 ingredients. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 ingredients.
Which
First
is
of all,
pretty typical for Truth to have
which is
10
pretty
or less.
typical. Which is pretty
Yeah.
typical. So first of all, you don't have a lot. Second, we got 25% fat soluble vitamin C. 25% fat soluble vitamin C. This could be a vitamin C product as much as a retinol. and then you're getting the retinol as well. You only need 1 to 2 drops. There's no real preservatives. There's a little antioxidant, but it's not preserved. There's no toxic preservatives. This will last you months. You've got 5% retinol, real retinol, compared to the other one that's got a fraction. There's 10 to 15, probably 20 times more retinol in this product than those other products. And you say, well, why do you need 5% retinol? Well, first of all, in pharmacy, we say the dose makes the medicine. So the bigger the dose, the stronger the medicine. But second of all, you can use smaller amounts. Can you use 1 drop of that silly product? The other product can use 1 drop of it? Of course not. You have to slather it on. This you could use 1 drop of. It creates value. It doesn't make your skin have to deal with 40 different ingredients. And it's potent, and the dose makes the medicine, as we say in pharmacy. This is not toy skincare. Look, if you're out there, you're an esthetician, and you just want to dabble around the edges, fine. There's plenty of toy skincare. It's all over the place. But if you're an esthetician and you want the real deal, and you trust your skill set, and you want to make a difference in your client's skin, and you want repeat business, and you want to be a real therapist, a real healthcare therapist, this is what you want, not the pretend stuff. And if you're a consumer and you really want to make a significant difference in in the health and the appearance of your skin, and you want value, this is what you want, not the pretend stuff, not the toy stuff. And don't fall for the marketing mumbo jumbo. And if you're still confused about it, talk to Monique, talk to us, talk to me, send us an email. We'll walk you through the whole process. If you're an esthetician, come on our founders calls. Come to our party.
Yeah.
We have a party coming up and an event coming up in 3 weeks. And we'll talk about all of this stuff. We're here to make sure that the esthetician has the tools they need and the consumer has the resources they need to make their skin more beautiful. The esthetician has the tools they need to help their consumer make their skin more beautiful. And that's why I call the company The Truth. And I know you are going to love the truth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And please do join us if you are local in Colorado, or if you want to come and travel to Colorado. I know we are trying to get some more information about discounted hotels nearby, but it's going to be February 21st in Broomfield, Colorado, 2 p.m.
No,
to 6
Denver,
p.m.
Colorado. It's in Broomfield. It's in Denver.
It'll be in Denver.
It's at the Art
And
Hotel.
yeah, few hours of education, an after party. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to that.
I am too. I am too.
Yeah. And, with these serums, I compared prices too. The first one that we went through that was not our formulation was $98 for $98. And then our 5% retinol is $100. So $2 more. But the significant difference in value in what you are getting in this product with the 25% THDA vitamin C, first and foremost, that is not a cheap ingredient.
That's correct.
And, could you actually touch on why the THDA vitamin C is ideal to have in a retinol formulation?
So many reasons. We were going to do that on our next call, but I'll just give you a little taste of it. Number one, stability. Stability in an active ingredient is critical because once an ingredient is unstable, it doesn't work. Even worse, sometimes when an ingredient is unstable and breaks down, it actually accelerates aging. So if you don't have stability, you don't know what you're getting. Your 10%, for example, or 20% ascorbic acid, if it breaks down, by the time you use it, maybe 1% or 5%. And the rest of it could be pro-oxidant, accelerating the aging process. Heck, you may not even have any, for all you know. And by the time they sell you 15 or 20 or 10 or whatever it is percent, that's when it's made. By the time you buy it, it might be half that much or less. Right. So first of all, you get stability. Secondly, you get penetration. The skin is a barrier to anything water soluble. Ascorbic acid, the cheap form of vitamin C, is water soluble. It doesn't penetrate very effectively. Fat soluble vitamin C penetrates. So you get stability, you get penetration, and you get soothing, calming. You can use Truth Transdermal C Serum for rashes, for burns, for healing, for anything you want to anytime you want to calm the skin down. I actually use it after I shave. That's how I developed it. I started using it after I shaved. I made it for myself for after I shaved. And after I shave, and you could probably relate to it, you shave your bikini area, it gets irritated, it gets red.
Yeah.
This calms everything down. Ascorbic acid will irritate it, will irritate the skin. And there's a lot of people who say they can't use vitamin C. They don't know about fat-soluble vitamin C. So you get soothing and calming, you get penetration, and you get stability.
Yes. And then adding this formula, because we have another retinol formula that is mainly your vitamin C and the retinol. It doesn't have
You're
all
talking
these
about the gel,
additional,
the
the
gel.
gel, which
Yes,
I
the
prefer the texture of the
I
gel.
I know some people like the texture. That's true. That's why we still
Yeah,
have
some
it.
people like the serum, some people like the texture. That's why we have
Yeah.
options. But the serum, I think what's so great about this is that it does have those additional buffering ingredients in there, like the
And nutritive
squalene.
ingredients, the fullerenes, the vitamin E,
Yes,
the
yes.
what was the other one here? I forgot what it is. Where's it? Oh, the cap, the phytosterols. Yes, it has calming ingredients, lipids. It's a well-rounded formulation. It's not just a bunch of stuff thrown against the wall. Sunflower seed oil and rose hip oil and rosemary oil. It's just those are to a formulator. Those are gibberish.
Right.
That's what, and this is there's a coherency and a logic to this that makes this like a laser as opposed to an incandescent light. The difference between an incandescent light and a laser is an incandescent light scatters its lights everywhere. It's photons everywhere. It's waves everywhere. This is like a laser. The light is all the photons are all coherent. Everything's pointing in one direction. You get the effect of a laser with this product versus an incandescent light with 43 ingredients that are throwing light everywhere, and you're getting 5% retinol,
Yeah,
real
which
retinol.
is yeah, it's very high. I can't use it. I use it on my chest or on parts of my body right now. The 1% is
One
plenty
percent is
for
plenty
me.
for most. Yeah, 1% is
Yeah,
plenty for most people.
1% is plenty for me. I always say, start with 1 day a week, work your way up to 2 to 3 days a week and see how you do. And, if you're on the
Right.
1% and at 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you don't have any kind of micro flaking or anything changing, we can probably bump you up to the 5%. And then we start from there and just continue to grow in how much you're using or how often that you're using it. But beautiful, beautiful formulations are so silky, they absorb very quickly into the skin. But yeah, we want to continue having this conversation. I have a
Next week
list.
we'll talk about the other
I
one.
have so many other products that I want to get through because they are so
Awesome.
popular and so widely talked about, and it helps so much just for you yourself as a consumer to understand what it is that you are looking at. Can really make a huge difference, save you a bunch of money, and actually help you correct your skin with effective products. So thank you so much, Ben, for being
Thank
here and
you.
making
Good
the
to see you, Monique.
time.
Bye,
Great to
everybody.
see you.